Let us continue from where we left off. We're going to read the next chapter of this book. It's called Bound to Blood and Moonlight. It's a good werewolf billionaire romance. As always, I read for you, and you enjoy the plot. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let us read. Chapter 12. Secrets in Scars and Voices in the Dark. Liora rolled back the thick wool cuff of her sleeve, exposing the crescent-shaped scar above her inner elbow. Candlelight caught the ridged, white line, making it stark against her skin. She barely had time to register her own hesitation before Alaric stepped closer, and froze. His breath hitched, soft, involuntary. It was exactly the reaction she had hoped for, and feared. The intensity in his eyes sent a jolt through her, shifting her inner state from curiosity to sharp, cold unease. She wanted answers, yet feared the truth he might see. Alaric stared at the small scar as if it were written in a language only he could read. The candle flame flickered violently for a second, though no draft disturbed it. His voice dropped to a low whisper. "I hoped I was wrong." He didn't look at her, only at the mark. Slowly, tentatively, Alaric lifted his hand, hovering it above her scar. The motion was painfully delicate, reverent, almost, as if the air itself might shatter under his touch. Leora's chest tightened. Fear pricked through her, leaving her suddenly vulnerable. She flinched, pulling her arm back slightly, unsure whether his intent was medical, prophetic, or something else entirely. The air between them seemed to pulse. She felt a subtle pressure beneath her skin and a faint, low hum, like distant chanting. "May I?" he whispered, strained and thin. Liora didn't respond, yet Alaric didn't wait for permission. He quickly drew his hand back, shoulders slumping under the weight of knowledge. He stepped away, rubbing his forehead, pacing once. The hesitation sent a sharp spike of suspicion through her. He was holding back something important. The scent of aged paper and leather thickened around them. Finally, his voice fell into the quiet library, resonant and low. "This is older than your memories." Liora blinked, confused. "Older? It's my scar." Alaric ignored her. Instead, he moved toward the center table, piled high with brittle scrolls and leather-bound tomes. He flipped a massive volume open to a torn page, revealing a drawing of a child marked with a crescent identical to hers. The edges of the page were ragged, clearly torn deliberately. Someone had hidden this knowledge. Alaric traced the line of the scar in the drawing with his finger. "The surviving child always bears the mark," he murmured. A cold jolt shot through Liora, not tied to prophecy or magic, but deep in her mind. She instinctively touched her scar and winced as a sudden, stabbing pain erupted, not on her skin, but at the back of her head. Dread churned into nausea. A fragment of memory surged. Darkness, a man shouting, the metallic taste of blood on her tongue. She stumbled back from the table. The tome slipped from her hands, crashing to the stone floor. Alaric didn't look down. His gaze remained locked on her, pale with sudden, stark recognition. He gripped the table for support, looking every bit as disoriented and protective as Damien had when she collapsed in the training yard. His words, "the surviving child," contradicted everything Marcus had told her over the years. The candle on the desk flickered violently in response to the emotional surge, plunging the library into near darkness, before flaring weakly back. Leora's voice was barely audible. "Surviving what?" She fled the library, the fear still clinging to her. She wanted the comforting lies Marcus had always offered, the familiar version of her past. She lifted her hand to knock on the guest house door, but before she could, it swung open. Marcus stood there, composed, his calm, controlled gaze unnervingly timed. "Liora," he said smoothly, claiming he had heard her footsteps. The compound was large. Her steps had been quick. The sudden chill in the hallway made her question the timing. Did he know she would come? "You're shaking," Marcus observed. His hand guided her inside, pressing gently, but firmly, at her spine. The touch was practiced, calculated, less comfort, more ownership. "You shouldn't talk to Alaric alone." He led her to the couch and sat beside her, shoulder to shoulder, forming a unit. Marcus spoke immediately, recounting her childhood with confident familiarity, summer days at the lake, the day she fell from the oak tree. "The scar," he said smoothly, "from an accident with a branch. You slipped trying to save a bird's nest." His certainty was absolute, but it clashed violently with the fragment of memory she had just experienced. Liora subtly shifted on the couch, trying to create space. trying to reconcile his account with her visceral recollection. Marcus reacted instantly. He grabbed her wrist before she could move away. The sudden pressure made the scar beneath her sleeve react. A faint warmth bloomed under her skin. Marcus's eyes widened for a fraction of a second as he noticed. He dropped her wrist abruptly. Like the touch had burned him, the truth hit Liora hard. Marcus was not her protector. He was a cage. She stepped back, covering her scar, her fear crystallizing into quiet defiance. Marcus's words tried to reclaim control. "You're remembering wrong." Leora's pulse pounded against her palm, pressing into the crescent mark. For the first time, she truly saw the predator behind the practiced kindness. "Maybe I'm finally remembering right," she said, her voice flat, unflinching. Without waiting for his response, Liora moved toward the door. Her feet carried her steadily, refusing to betray the shaking certainty building inside her. Marcus called after her, calm but sharp. "Liora, we haven't finished our talk about your accident." She didn't pause, he didn't follow. He waited, controlled, unmoving. Stepping into the night, the cold air hit her like water, stripping away the warmth of the controlled house. She didn't look back. Her voice trembled in the darkness, the only honest sound she could make. "Why does nothing you say feel real anymore?"